Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the Funimation dub of episode 84 of Dragonball Super. We begin this episode with Goku flying in the air. He's on his way to go see Krillin and Android 18 in the hopes of recruiting them for the Tournament of Power. Gohan soon enough catches up to his father. Gohan intends to help Goku with convincing Krillin and Android 18 in joining the Universe 7 team. The father and son duo do find Krillin in the city shortly after he's completed a series of commitments as a police officer, not just in stopping criminals, but also helping civilians in other ways, such as leading some civilians across the road safely or guiding some civilians to their desired destinations. In any case, though, Krillin has finished his commitments for the day, so he returns home and he invites Goku and Gohan over so that the father-son duo can talk to him and Android 18 about whatever it is that they want to talk to them about. So the Saiyan duo proceed to tell the married couple and Marin about the Tournament of Power. And it sounds as though Krillin is interested in the idea, or Krillin sounds, it sounds like Krillin is considering joining the Tournament of Power. Android 18, however, declines the invitation. She says something along the lines about not working for free, and also mentioning about needing to watch Marin. Goku, however, points out that Marin could stay at Capsule Corporation during the time of the Tournament of Power, but this makes Android 18 suspicious. She inquires Goku and Gohan about why they are so insistent on having her join the Tournament of Power as well as Krillin, because keep in mind, Krillin and Android 18 do not know that the losing participating universes of the Tournament of Power will be erased from existence. Goku and Gohan whisper to each other, and Goku inquires his oldest son about if it's still a good idea to keep them in the dark about what's really on the line for losing the tournament. Gohan, however, is still insistent that they keep the stakes of losing the tournament a secret because he wants to avoid a massive panic. But Android 18 grows more suspicious as she sees them whispering. So in order to prevent them from knowing what's really on the line, Goku lies. Yes, Goku comes up with a lie that the prize for winning the Tournament of Power will be 10 million zeni per team member of the winning universe's team. And this convinces Android 18 in joining the Tournament of Power. Gohan also has a favor for Krillin. Gohan wishes to have a practice match with Krillin. So the 5 characters all head off towards the ocean, and there's a series of rock formations. Naturally, Gohan and Krillin will be fighting on these rock formations. There's also a nearby rock formation. That's where Goku, Android 18, and Marin are going to spectate the practice match. Gohan says that the purpose of this practice match is he wants to gauge the power levels of Krillin. He wants to gauge Krillin's power level because Gohan wants to gauge the power levels of all of the team members for the 7th Universe team. Gohan's hope is to form a strategy around these power levels. Thinking to himself, though, Gohan also admits to himself that he also wants to see what his dad sees in Krillin, because Gohan is still uncertain about if Krillin would be able to handle the Tournament of Power, but he knows that his dad is confident in Krillin's abilities, so Gohan wants to see what his dad sees in Krillin. On the spectator rock formation, Android 18 is continuing to be suspicious because she notices that Gohan has a rather serious look on his face, And keep in mind, Android 18 still thinks that this tournament is just a fun event with no serious stakes involved. So Goku tries to pass it off as Gohan just being really determined to win 100 million Zenny. And Android 18 catches this. Android 18 notes that Goku initially said that the prize was 10 million Zenny per person for the winning universe's team. So in the hopes of changing the topic to, hoping to change the topic, Goku quickly tries to root for Krillin. And he also roots for Gohan as well when Marin points out that it seems odd that he isn't rooting for his own son. So before the fight actually starts, though, Krillin makes a point to bring up to Gohan about how this practice match, and the Tournament of Power for that matter, will be a match that has rules and limitations involved. So he wants to stress that this match and the tournament won't be a free-for-all fight to the death. And Gohan makes a point, Gohan says he knows this, but thinking to himself, Krillin wonders if Gohan really understands what that means exactly. So the practice match officially starts, and Gohan becomes distracted for a moment, and this gives Krillin the chance to make the first attack. Krillin also makes a point to encourage Gohan not to pull his punches, as he puts it, and Gohan makes sure not to pull his punches. And Krillin, during the fight, Krillin actually reveals an even more powerful version of the solar flare. He calls it the 100 times solar flare. And this version of the solar flare is so powerful that Gohan can still feel the solar flare even with his eyes closed. And Android 18 came prepared. She has sunglasses for herself, Marin, and Goku. So while Gohan has his eyes closed, Krillin takes the chance to suppress his energy signature, and he knocks Gohan out of bounds, thus making Krillin the winner. And Gohan actually is Gohan is grateful that Krillin actually taught him a rather important lesson through this practice match. And Krillin makes a point to say that he has some other techniques up his sleeve for the actual tournament, but he also encourages Gohan that they'll be able to succeed if they complement each other with their respective advantages. Namely, he brings up how he has his own... Krillin mentions his advantage is experience and skills, while Gohan has the advantage of strength. And he thinks if they work together, they'll be able to complement their advantages and win the tournament. Goku also ends up being inspired when he sees this practice match. He wants a practice match with Krillin as well, but he wants to change the location too. So next up, the 5 characters head to the Hercule building. Off screen, they talk to Hercule, and he told them that the rooftop of the building should make a suitable practice match arena. So Gohan makes a point to remind his dad that they are pressed for time right now, and he doesn't want his dad to use up all his energy before the tournament even begins. Gohan actually goes as far as to say that he will stop the fight if he thinks his father is going too far. Android 18 voices disagreement about having a practice match so quickly after the previous practice match, but Krillin assures Android 18 that he's okay with having this other practice match right now. So Goku and Krillin agree that this practice match will have the same rules as the Tournament of Power. And Krillin also has a brief flashback where he thinks back to the last time he and Goku fought each other, which actually was during a tournament. The 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament, to be more precise. That was the second tournament that Goku and Krillin participated in, and that was all the way back in the classic Dragon Ball series, the Tien Shinhan saga of the classic Dragon Ball series. So, rain begins to pour. Android 18 has an umbrella on hand for Marin, and the practice match officially begins. Krillin makes the first move by launching multiple Destructo Discs towards Goku, and he also does a fake out for the Solar Flare. Like, yeah, Krillin looks like he's going to do the Solar Flare, but then he quickly changes his hand gestures to launch a series of multiple energy blasts, yes. So Goku actually transforms into Super Saiyan 1 during this part of the fight, and he almost gets hit with a ring out. There was actually a smaller Destructo Disc that actually cut up a circle around the part of the arena that Goku was standing on. So if he wasn't paying attention, Goku would have received a ring out. Krillin admits that the other Destructo Discs were decoys to distract Goku so that this smaller Destructo Disc could try to ring him out. Goku is impressed by this, and he actually decides to transform into Super Saiyan Blue in response. He also inquires his best friend about what will Krillin do against this sort of power. Gohan wonders if Krillin has some sort of plan for a power like Super Saiyan Blue, or comparable to Super Saiyan Blue at least. But Android 18 outright admits to Gohan that, no, Krillin does not stand a chance against a power comparable to Super Saiyan Blue in a one-on-one match. But she does make a point to mention to Gohan that Goku and Gohan did tell her and Krillin that the Tournament of Power would be a battle royale. So after Goku and Krillin both comment about how they're enjoying this practice match, they both launch their own respective Kamehamehas towards each other. So naturally, a beam struggle happens. Goku begins to overpower Krillin. Goku is overpowering Krillin's beam during the beam struggle, but it's interrupted when Android 18 actually kicks the beams away. Android 18 brings up to both Goku and Krillin that her reason for doing this is because the Tournament of Power is a battle royale, which means during the Tournament of Power, there aren't always going to be one-on-one matches, and they can team up in order to help each other out against especially powerful opponents that they won't be able to defeat on their own. So the married couple offer to have Gohan join the practice match as well, so that they can have even teams against each other. But Goku returns to his normal form, and he admits that he actually didn't really understand the full extent of the Tournament of Power beforehand, and he admits that they taught him something important just now. Goku also makes a point to say that he could also stand to learn something from Gohan as well, and Gohan does seem to appreciate this. Gohan makes a point that he will try to help out in any way he can as well. So Goku praises Krillin, mentioning how it's no wonder Krillin is his best friend, and he's going to count on both Krillin and Android 18 for their help in the Tournament of Power, as well as the other team members, of course. And this actually, Marin actually makes a comment about how her parents won the match, and Goku doesn't really like that insistence that he lost the match, but Gohan tells Marin that, her parents won because of teamwork, and Gohan's trying to tell Goku to just go along with it, or something along those lines. But soon enough, Goku actually remembers something important. He wants to, Goku inquires Android 18 about if she knows where her twin brother, Android 17, Goku inquires Android 18 about where her twin brother, Android 17, is, mentioning that they want to recruit Android 17 for the Tournament of Power as well. Goku also admits he never actually met Android 18's twin brother before. Android 18 Android 18 says that the last time she spoke to her twin brother, he did mention that he's working at a wildlife reserve. But she also admits that she never inquired where exactly this wildlife reserve is, and Android 17 never brought it up either. So, they don't know the exact location of where he is. However, Krillin makes a suggestion. Krillin points out that Dende is the Guardian of Earth, so surely the Guardian of Earth would know the exact location of the wildlife reserve that Android 17 is working at. So Goku decides that, yeah, that's good advice. Goku's gonna go see Dende so that he can find Android 17. So, and then yes, we do see a few brief scenes showing Android 17 on an island, and we also see clips of the Null Realm where the Tournament of Powers arena is still being constructed slowly but steadily, and that is how we end this episode. So, if the previous episode could be interpreted as Vegeta's recruitment episode, this could be seen as the recruitment episode for Krillin and Android 18. Yes, this could be seen as the recruitment episode for both Krillin and Android 18, and they both agreed to join. So, Goku, Gohan, Boo, Vegeta, Krillin, and Android 18. That means that more than half of the Universe 17 members have agreed to join the Tournament of Power at this point in time. Now, yes, the other big detail is Goku came up with a lie about what happens if you win the Tournament of Power. And this was because, yes, Gohan still doesn't want to tell anyone about what's really on the line for losing the Tournament of Power because he fears a massive panic. So they came up with this lie. And yes, we can imagine that sooner or later, yes, it's not unreasonable to imagine that sooner or later this lie is going to be exposed. Having said that, however, many fans would make a point to say that you would think that knowing that your existence is on the line would motivate them to join the Tournament of Power. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that happens. Or if you've already seen the subversion or read up on it or know what's going to happen anyway, yes, it's more like for the dub-only viewers. The dub-only viewers will have to see how it unfolds as they watch the dub episodes or if they follow along with these recap and thoughts videos. So, what I did like about this episode was Gohan and Krillin's interactions, not just with the practice match, but them talking to each other, because I do remember back in Dragon Ball Z how Gohan and Krillin did interact with each other a lot, especially during the Frieza saga. Gohan and Krillin really formed a powerful bond on their trip to Namek during the Frieza saga. So it was nice to see that again, because while Gohan still did interact with Krillin after he got older and was in high school and as an adult, it still seemed like Krillin and Gohan didn't interact quite as much as they did compared to when Gohan was a kid. So I did appreciate that that little those brief details, or those small details that add a lot to the episode, if you wanted my 2 cents anyway. And similar to what I brought up before in the previous episode's recap and thoughts video, Krillin and Gohan, the practice match actually highlighted how Krillin and Gohan kind of represent sibling tropes. Krillin representing weak but skilled, while Gohan represents unskilled but strong. And Krillin did make a good point that they can complement each other's advantages in order to, that their respective advantages can complement each other and be of great help during the Tournament of Power. And yeah, Android 18 and Krillin would also make a great team as well, being that they are a married couple. So, another detail I did like was, Goku and Krillin's practice match was also a nice touch, I felt. And I did like the flashback to the Tien Shinhan saga. That's one of my favorite sagas from classic Dragon Ball. And in the franchise in general, I might even go as far as to say. But yes, during the flashback, we did get to hear the kid voices for Goku and Krillin, at least in the Funimation dub. So Laurie Steele was Kid Krillin in the Funimation dub. But yes, for this flashback and an earlier flashback in Dragon Ball Super, Colin Clinkenbeard voiced Kid Goku. In the classic Dragon Ball series Funimation dub, Stephanie Nadolny played Kid Goku. And I do admit, I do miss Stephanie Nadolny in the role of Kid Goku. She was my preferred voice artist for Kid Goku. But yeah, it was nice to hear Laurie Steele play Kid Krillin again in that flashback. Speaking of voice artists, this episode in particular reminded me about why I'm glad that Android 18 is voiced by Meredith McCoy again. Meredith McCoy had voiced Android 18 in the Funimation dub of regular Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT. The way I understand it, she was not able to return to the role in Dragon Ball Z Kai because of schedule conflicts. That's at least how I heard it anyway. But those schedule conflicts were resolved by the time Dragon Ball Super rolled around. So I am glad to have Meredith McCoy back in the role. She's my preferred voice artist for Android 18. I especially liked her chemistry with Sonny Strait as Krillin in particular. And I also liked her chemistry as Chuck Huber, her chemistry with Chuck Huber as Android 17. And pretty soon we will get to see Android 17. And yes, we now know that Android 17 is a park ranger for a wildlife reserve. And this actually ties into an interview from a few years ago. Yes, in an interview a few years ago, Akira Toriyama did actually answer the question of what was Android 17 up to after the events of the Cell Saga, and Akira Toriyama did mention in this interview Android 17 is a park ranger now. He also mentioned some other details, and those details will be mentioned in a later episode, so we'll be sure to bring that up eventually. But yes, it was cool that they did touch up on those interview details to address where Android 17 is. And yes, it's going to be a challenge to find Android 17 because the androids, besides Cell, I believe, yes, I think except for Cell, the androids otherwise don't have energy signatures. Yeah, it was a pretty big deal that the Z Fighters were not able to sense the energy signatures of the androids. So yes, that's why finding Android 17 is going to be particularly tricky, especially because they're pressed for time with the Tournament of Power coming up. So, yeah. But yes, Krillin brought up a good point. Surely the Guardian of Earth would know where someone on Earth is located at. So we'll be sure to go into greater detail as we continue on with these recap and thoughts videos. But otherwise, yes, I did enjoy this episode. Oh, I guess I might as well bring this up. There actually was quite a bit of back when the sub version of this episode aired, I remembered seeing quite a bit of disagreement or dislike for this episode. I might as well bring this up, actually. Yes, Goku fighting Krillin and using Super Saiyan Blue, that apparently caused a lot of frustration for some viewers. And yes, because they figured Goku would be able to overpower Krillin. So I mentioned it before. I guess I'll keep mentioning it. Yes, my whole stance on the whole power level or power scaling debates are just don't think about it. Just watch the flashy fights. That's always been my view of it. But having said that, though, I should make a point to say that even though I have a don't think about it, just watch the flashy fights mentality towards the whole power level thing, I don't agree with how some fans insist that just because some fans like to talk about power levels or like to pay attention to power scaling, there are some fans that accuse those fans of not being able to enjoy the show, and I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with how some fans try to insist that the power level debates or the power scaling debates are the worst thing to happen to the franchise and the fandom, and I don't agree with that as well. So just because I don't pay attention or don't really give much thought to power level or power scaling, that doesn't mean that it's bad if others do. So I hope that's made clear, and I do frown upon how some try to antagonize those who do think about it. Because for me personally, the reason I don't take much issue with the power level or power scaling debate is more just because I feel like there's easy explanations for some of those seeming inconsistencies. Like, for this episode, for example, I think that saying Goku was holding back against Krillin is a perfectly reasonable explanation. Some people might not agree with that, but again, that's more, but like I said, just because I don't put much stock into that doesn't mean it's bad if others do. I mean, every group is going to have maybe some fans that act a little more extreme than others, but just because someone does think about power level or power scaling doesn't make it automatically bad, and I do frown upon how some take that a little too far. And there actually is going to be some more examples of that during the Tournament of Power saga. There are some moments which I noticed caused a bit of tension with some power level or power scaling debate. But like I said, I myself just have the don't think about it, just watch the flashy fights mentality towards it. And maybe some might act extreme, but not everyone who thinks about power levels or power scaling has that extreme mentality. And I do frown upon those who antagonize them over it. So I hope we can be civil and play nice. Well, we'd all like that. It would be nice if we could all be civil about and have an agree to disagree mentality, but sometimes that's easier said than done. So yeah, that was a bit of a tangent, but I figured I might as well address it and give a heads up about what's to come in some later moments that also sparked that controversy, I guess we can call it. But yes, otherwise, I did enjoy this episode. I liked seeing Krillin and Android 18 in a significant role, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they will contribute to the Tournament of Power in the dub, of course. But otherwise, yes, there we go for this particular episode. So as of this video, we've now discussed the FUNimation dub of episode 84 of Dragon Ball Super on this channel. Take care, and until next time...